Hello. So I'm having more technical issues. Can anyone hear me? Oh, shoot. Not again. So you can hear me? So we'll see if it lets you stay because I thought I had fixed this. This happened Monday night. And after a while, people just dropped off. Okay. Well, that's good because I've got limited functioning, but I think as long as you can hear me, that's going to be okay. Super. So if for some reason you drop off because of wherever you're at, Facebook and YouTube, if you drop off, I will probably come in again, but it will be a different link. So let's get started because who knows how long this will last. It's just acting really funny. I'm just going to go to a different window. So hold on. So in about 4 minutes, we're going to start with a healing pulse. And then tonight we're going to do something a little bit different since I've been here once already. Okay, so some things still aren't working, but you're still here. 2 nights ago, it dumped everybody off, I think, because all of a sudden. So let me check one thing because usually I can write in chat. Okay. It won't let me put anything in chat, but so I'm just going to have to tell you things. So, welcome, welcome. I got some new faces and some old faces, or should I say names? So, I'm Summer. I am very happy to be here for the December mini healing. So, we generally do this on the first of the month, but we had technical difficulties. So, I tried to recreate a new event for Monday night, and I think 5 or so of you were here. So we're going to do this again. But if you're new, I'll start from the top. Usually 10 minutes in, I do something called a healing pulse, which is a form of energy work that I created myself. We'll do 3 throughout the night. It doesn't work for everyone, but when it does, it's like magic. It helps with pain or discomfort. It can help with emotional things. Generally, especially if you notice a difference, if you get triggered by stress and the root cause is still within you, it will come back. But especially for people that are looking for temporary relief or maybe it's a minor root cause. Sometimes it lasts, which is amazing. And then we're going to do some individual healing. And pretty much I try and get to everyone. And so we're going to do things if you say, you know, my knee's been bugging me, or I'm extra sad, or I'll look and see if there is a root cause. And this work is based on a book called The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. So I am certified in that tool, although I have taken it and changed it and made it fit me better. And I think it fits my clients better. So we're going to do a bit of that. But since we were just here Monday, some of us, when things get messed up, especially with tech or with scheduling, I always add some bonus stuff. So we're going to see how that works out. So part of this dealing with trapped emotions is if you have the same trapped emotions over and over and over, it makes you super, super sensitive. So say you're sad and your level for sadness, your neutral level is here. But if it keeps piling up where you get that trapped, all of a sudden your level's way up here and you are uber sensitive to the point where other people think you're super sensitive. But part of it is you've come by it honestly, where you have this trapped over and over. And so that's something that if you feel an emotion and people have told you that you're really sensitive, or sometimes people who have experienced a lot of loss through death or disappointments or other types of loss have grief piled over and over and over. And so that's something we could look at seeing how many times do you have a certain energy trapped within you. And so we shall see how that works. I've done that a couple times, and I can't remember who it was, but in my little book that I keep track of everything, I was able to count. So say someone had anger and they had it trapped like 8 times. I wrote it down in the book and we worked on releasing. So we've done that a few times here, but I haven't really promoted it. So let's do our first healing pulse. So with this, the healing pulse works with your own personal healing energies, but also mine. So I want you to think about, do you have somewhere physical that you're having issues with? Or do you have some type of emotion that you are extra sensitive to? And when you think about that emotion, or maybe it's anxiety, where do you feel that when you're triggered with that emotion? So for example, when I'm anxious, I feel it in the pit of my stomach. And so that's where I'm going to want to work on healing. So I want you to rub your hands together and place them exactly where you want to receive the energy. And then I want you to allow my hands on yours. And I'm going to send you energy too. So just let that flow. So this is how you're getting your own energies plus mine. And so just imagine with each breath in, you are receiving healing energy. And then with each breath in, it's also going a little deeper. So with a deep breath in, you're bringing in the healing. With a breath out, you're releasing some type of energy. Maybe it's something that you're done with. Maybe it's something that maybe never was yours, but it's ready to go. So just imagine in and healing and out and release. Now, if you're into breath work, this is something that I would suggest the box breath. So just keep breathing in and breathing out. So if you're sensitive to energies, some of you might feel heat, Some of you might feel cold. Some of you might feel tingles. And so when I first started doing energy work, I really didn't feel anything. And there are still times when I don't really feel anything. And I haven't quite figured out why that is, because it's sort of random. But when people would give me energy work, afterwards, I would always feel good. But sometimes I really didn't notice anything. But I always tried to be open and allowing. And so that's my request to you. And so that is the first healing pulse. So generally people feel more on the second or the third pulse, and we'll do that throughout the next hour. So how did everybody do on your first pulse? And then writing in my book. So today is 12/3. And for those of you here through Honey C. Golden, I did watch one of her. She and I can't remember the gal's name. They have a full moon video out talking about the full moon in December. So if you're into astrology and the planets and the full moon, it's pretty good for me. I am not as interested in like the placements and things like that. But if you are, I think you should really watch it. I like just about anything Honey does. Very interesting. So let's see so I'm going to go through and just see if anyone put anything in chat so I'm going back to the beginning. So I've got someone from Texas. Wonderful. I'm in Minnesota. We've got lots of horrible snow and cold already. There's tug of light. There's Laura. Definitely some new people. Lily. Bridget. Colette's back. Welcome. And Fatha's back again. Welcome. Miriam. Good. Angel Knight's here. Yay. Oh, and Jeffrey and your dad. Cool. Oh, and Fatha thinks that was Kelly Hunter with Honey C. Okay. Oh, Bridget's in Minnesota. I'm up in Duluth, Bridget. Yes. Brr. Okay, so we've got... So Miriam felt tingling in her heart. Wonderful. And Angel Knight... I think Angel Knight's the first one. So I'm starting my list. Angel Knight is going to be the first one on it. Fatigue. And so what I do is, using muscle testing and intuition, I look to see if there was some type of event that is causing whatever issue it is. And for most people, usually it's multiple issues. Every once in a while I get someone that it's one, and it's like a miracle. But most of us aren't quite that lucky. So Lily wants to work on cataracts. Angel Knight. What's your dad's name, Angel Knight? First name. Okay, Dad wants to work on sinus. Does that run in your family? Didn't Jeffrey have sinus issues? Yeah. Okay, so. And then for those of you who are new, if you want to just watch for a little bit to see how things go. Oh, your dad's Paul. Sorry. Okay. I just need to make sure I get everybody down. So I don't mean to miss anyone, but if you think I don't have you down. So far I've got Angel Knight, Lily, Paul, Jeffrey, and I'm writing down Laura's got joint pain, especially hands. So Laura, especially with the healing pulse, pick a hand, put your other hand on top, and then you'll imagine my hands on yours. And that way both hands will get it. Start there for the next healing pulse. All right, so Colette, healing for lungs and vagus nerve. Okay. Lungs. So I'll see if, for Colette, I'll see if we need to do those together or if I need to separate them. Sometimes there's different root causes. Okay. So Colette wrote quite a bit. Every ear sign 21 or 20 get shaded with spike protein. Have you ever tried using energy work to release at least some of the spike proteins? I'll add that to the list and we'll see what's best. Okay, Bridget is anxiety. Okay. Okay, so Nick and Fatha's son is to work on general recovery. Okay, because last Wednesday or Monday we worked on digestive. All right, so Mfatha, if you want to put down what you want to work on, I don't think I missed it, but okay. All right. Tug of light. Got a few things here. Whoops. So what I do is I write down all your issues, but we mainly just get to one. So I check in to see which one. Deep-rooted generation, frustration, TMJ, unladylike language. Some people like that, Tug. Right? There are times for that, right? Okay, Miriam. Right hip pain and hair loss. Loss. Okay, I think I'm getting down there. Cool. Colette, I've been looking for a medical intuitive. If you would share, that would be appreciated. All right, so Mfatha, peace of mind. Yeah, crazy times. And especially for those of you who are really moon sensitive, we're in a full moon time. Because when I look out, it looks full tonight, but I know on Honey C and Kelly's show, it said the 12th. So I don't know if that's because the 12th is at midnight, or if it's really the 3rd tonight. Again, astrology is not my area of expertise. Just mainly the basics. Thank you, Colette. So I do some hypnosis and regression stuff, like the Dolores Cannon method. And lately I've had a friend be my surrogate. And so she and I sometimes get together and, oh, thank you, Beth. So Beth says it's actually tomorrow night. So it is officially the 4th where the full moon is. So sometimes she and I will just get together and sort of play around and ask questions. And like a month or 2 ago, we pulled in Seth, and that was interesting. So lots of fun with that stuff. But I've realized sometimes for me, it's too personal, and I don't always get answers to certain things. So I'm going to go through the list and make sure I didn't miss anyone. Ooh, I did miss somebody. Annie. Annie snuck in on me. Welcome, Annie. That's a new name. All right, so lack of motivation. Can't get on a healthy schedule. So we'll see. Maybe there's a block to that. Oh, and Angel Knight's got a request for good luck, bad luck. Oh, and there's Harmonious. Welcome. Sure, definitely. So if you want to do that, I'll add you to the list. Okay, here's my list. If I don't say your name and you put something in, that means I missed you. So if you could retype or copy it. So I've got Angel Knight, Lily, Paul, Jeffrey, Laura, Colette, Bridget, Nick, Tug of Light, Miriam, Emphatha, Annie, and then Harmonious. Yes, Harmonious. So we want to, what's your mom's first name? Miko. Okay. Fabulous. And what does she want to check on? And then Harmonious, if you want to add yourself, just let me know what your theme is. So I'll keep an eye out for that, but let's get started. So, Angel Knight. So I've got my list here, I think. So I've got a list of 400 negative emotions, and that's usually my easiest to use because generally I find an event and usually there's like an emotional theme. Okay, so let's see what list I'm. So I did check a couple ways of doing this because, as I said in the beginning, tonight I was going to try and do some different things because this is sort of a bonus session. But we're going to work on finding the trapped emotion that is part of the root cause for the fatigue. So just one moment. So I'm Angel Night, I'm getting the energy of misused around age of 28. So somewhere 27, 28, 29. Now ages are sort of the toughest thing. So usually I'm within about a year. So 27, 28, 29, somewhere in there. All right. So tug a light. Son Walter. Health issue. I can try tug a light. It's not exactly my area of expertise. Usually we look at symptoms and reducing symptoms and hopefully getting to the root cause. But sometimes I can narrow it down through chakras. And if I figure out what area, what chakras causing the, or what chakra the problem is in, it narrows it down quite a bit. All right, so Harmonious's mom's got stomach issues. So I'm going to keep it general. And then Harmonious, we're going to add Harmonious. Left cyst on ovary. Okay, so sorry, little distracted. So going back to Angel Night, misused around the age of 28. And so for those healers in the group, and I know there's quite a few, I would like you to assist me in releasing that. It makes the release a little stronger so that there's not residual energies. So, fatigue is a tough one because there are so many things that contribute to fatigue. So I imagine there's quite a few layers for this Angel Night. And so what I do is I work on releasing the energy of it. And then I also fill the void with a healing pulse energy. So there's not any emptiness. So that released. Okay, Lily is next. Lily wants to work on cataracts. And so let me see. So sometimes in a regular private session, I use this book if it comes up. So if you are not familiar with this book, it has parts of your body and emotions that can sometimes contribute to certain areas that have troubles. And then it also has certain things that, so I'm seeing if cataracts are in here. It does not, so it's probably considered a general eye issue. And so this, if you do healing yourself, so you don't need this book. I don't need this book, but the nice thing about this is sort of a shortcut because anything in here I could probably find on my own. But this has a whole list of possible contributing factors to certain things. So, but it doesn't have, sometimes it's gotten certain issues. So like here's an example of something under K. Keratitis, kidney problems, kidney stones, kleptomania. So I was just seeing if there was something simple in there. But we're going to see for Lily. You are very welcome, Harmonious. So I'm getting the energy of mocked. Let me get an age for that, Lily. You were like 16. So 15, 16, 17? Mocked. And sometimes kids can be just mean. Sometimes families too, though. So I don't know if you remember if there was a particular event or if there was something that was ongoing, like sort of like bullying. So let's go ahead and release it. So I think I got distracted when I was talking about healers helping me release. If you're not a healer, but you pray or you wish, intention is huge in this work. And so as I'm working on releasing, if you could also work on releasing by saying a prayer, saying a wish, and putting your whole heart into letting the energies of, so like Lily, we're going to work on releasing the energy around mocked from a certain event when she was a teenager. So let's go ahead and release and remove. Okay, and Angel Knight wrote, because she was the first one, about misused. Felt that energy for sure. Thank you. Got married at 27, and the age I had got was 28. Not married anymore. So, but you were still carrying around some energy of something that was not good during that time. So I'm glad, Angel Knight, that that's been released. All right, so this is Angel Knight's dad, Paul. And he's got some sinus issues, so let's see. So it's a word that is on my list, but it's unmindful. So I don't think I've ever heard that anywhere other than on this list. So when I think about what does that mean? So when I think of mindful, and if you're unmindful, so does that mean it's the opposite? So then I'm like, well, what does that? So does it mean that you had a time when you were sort of oblivious to the deep inner workings of life and spirit and soul? Angel Knight, you'll have to ponder that with Paul and see what you think. Let me get an age, and maybe that'll help Paul know if there was a certain event, or was this sort of a period of life where things were unmindful in and around him. So I'm getting this was when Paul was around 23. So 22, 23, 24. So, and if I were to pick periods of time where people are unmindful, that, between 19 and 25, that's more of where I would think it would be, just because you're out of the house, you have more freedom, you have so many experiences to explore that you don't always pay attention to other things. So that did release. And I'm hoping it helps your sinus, but I would imagine it's not just that. Because especially as you get older, if you don't deal with things, Usually there's multiple reasons for that. So that's one thing that we've released. So Jeffrey. Now Jeffrey is a youngster. Although, so here's a question. Has Jeffrey inherited, because we can inherit trapped emotions and energies, is part of Jeffrey's sinus issues inherited? I do get a yes. So let's go ahead and release those. And with this, so Angel Knight, you can set the intention and help Paul and Jeffrey release. Now, generally, when you work on someone like here, we want permission, but they're right there. So you've got their permission, I'm assuming. So let's go and work on, so let's see, where did this, so it's emotions that are triggering more sinus stuff. And with this, I don't need to know what emotions there are, but we're going to lump everything together. So we're going to, so Paul's got this, Jeffrey's got this. Did it start with someone older than Paul? No. Okay, so we're going to clear from Paul, and we're going to release it from him with the intention it releases from anyone that has that in his lineage. This is biological lineage. And not everybody will inherit it, but we're going to release and remove because we know Jeffrey has some of that. Oh, and welcome, Kristen. I will put you on the list. And so inherited trapped emotions generally take a little bit more effort, a little more time, just because there are multiple things. Okay, so inherited. Very interesting. Thank you, Angel Knight, for bringing your family. Okay, Kristen, I'm adding you to the list. Need help with heart. Okay, so the next 3 people on deck will be Laura, Colette, and Bridget. I think we'll do Laura, and then we'll do our next healing pulse. Oh, and there's Rose Petals. Welcome. So we're doing some individual healing Rose Petals. So if you want to just watch for a bit and see what goes on. All right, so Laura's got some issues with her joints, especially in her hands. So I'm going to see there is a trapped emotion that is contributing towards that. So it's the energy of insincere. Let me get an age. And so Rose Petals, if there's something that you want to work on physically, emotionally, you can just put it in the comments. And in just a moment, we're going to do our next healing pulse, which anyone can participate in. So Laura, so insincere, and then I'm getting it's around age 14. So 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there. And when I think about that, I think of teenage girls that are sometimes sort of mean and not very nice. And so if someone's, so I can just picture somebody saying something to you and it wasn't honest or authentic and it was mean. And so I don't know if you were bullied or if it was just more of a one-time thing. So let's go ahead and release the energies. Okay, so that particular one released. Next, let's do our second healing pulse. So for those of you who were here for the first, I suggest doing a hand placement in about the same place, unless sometimes with physical discomfort, sometimes the pain can move. And so if you've noticed a shift, or sometimes say your arm hurt, but now it seems like your wrist hurts on the other arm. So sometimes it heals enough that you notice a pain in another location, although it doesn't always totally resolve the first one. It sometimes just lessens. So rose petals, sinuses, and sore throat. Okay. All right. So for the healing pulse, I want you to think about where you want to send the healing to. So, and most of you have really good places to send the energy. So, like Bridget with anxiety, where do you feel that anxiety? Is it like where your chest gets tight or your mouth gets dry? Uh, so think of where you feel the anxiety. And Miriam, you've got right hip pain, that'd be a perfect place. And Vata, peace of mind. Where does your peace live? Is it a mental thing or is it more in your heart? So place your hands, well, first, rub your hands together to get that energy flowing. And then place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. So Bridget, focus on one spot. And once you get your hands down, once you start receiving the energy, just imagine it expanding out, okay? So you've got your hands, everyone's got their hands on the place they want to receive the energy. Imagine my hands on yours. And the most important part is let the healing flow. Because you'll get your own healing frequencies plus mine. So imagine with each breath in, the healing goes a little deeper. With each breath out, you're releasing. So just allow the energy to flow. Breathe in. Breathe out. So just focus on that breath in and the healing, and then releasing. Because sometimes you're releasing things that were causing it. Sometimes you're releasing energies that aren't yours. Okay. That was healing pulse number 2. So most people who experience changes during the healing pulse, usually healing pulse 2 and 3 are the strongest. So I'm going to go back just a bit and check. All right, so Kristen's daughter. What's your daughter's first name? Kristen, sorry. Oh, that's bad. That's physically, mentally, emotionally. I'm sorry. Okay, so I've got Kristen's daughter. And then Laura commented she had the insincere trapped motion and it was friends. And Bridget's got whole body hurts and hard to breathe. Okay, so Kaylin. Oh, sorry, Christina. The A and the E just sort of blended. Thank you for that feedback, Rose Petals. All right, so Colette is next. So Colette's got a few things. So lungs, vagus nerve, spike proteins. So I'm getting vagus nerve would be the best one if we only choose one. And let's see what comes up with that. So I'm getting the energy of resentful, Colette. Let me get an age for that. Getting something around age 28. So 27, 28, 29. So with resentful, is that yours or did somebody resent you and it affected you? I'm getting this isn't yours. It's somebody resented you. But it was someone that you're close enough with that their resentfulness of you affected you. So let's go ahead and release resentful. Okay, so that did release. All right. Next, Bridget. So anxiety, whole body hurts, hard to breathe. Let's see which one is the most important we work on. We're going to work on that whole body hurts. Let's see what comes up. I get the energy of being infuriated. Let me get an age. So, and again, with this, you can be the one who's super mad, super infuriated, or someone could be infuriated at you. Is that the case? Yep. So, Bridget, this is someone who's super upset with you around 23. So, 22, 23, 24. So, let's go ahead and release that energy. I get a yes for that, Colette. That's good discernment. So releasing infuriated from Bridget. Okay, we're going to work on Nick. So he's looking at general recovery and healing. Yeah, it must have been super, super resentful. And for you to have that as a trapped emotion tells me how strong it was. Because if it was just sort of a minor thing. Okay, Nick, I'm getting despair. I'm getting an age for that. Oh, this is from when you were about 8, Nick. So 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. So, and especially young children, they don't always understand what's going on around them and with the adults. So sometimes the trapped emotions are really legit, and sometimes it's a more of a misinterpretation. But still, a trapped emotion is a trapped emotion, no matter if it's something that's misunderstood. So let's just see, was this his? No. So it was someone around him, someone close. So let's release this. So we're going to release and remove the despair from Nick. Okay, so that did release. Beth, you'll have to check on him and see. See if he felt that lift. That seems super heavy. Okay, next, tug of light. So deep-rooted generational frustration, TMJ, unladylike language. Let's see which is the most important one to work on. We're going to work on the TMJ. That surprised me. I thought we would work on the deep-rooted generation frustration, but sometimes order is important, and I never quite know. But let's see about the TMJ. So there's a few trapped emotions that's playing a role in that, but let's find the first one at least. All right, so tug of light. So I'm getting the word misunderstood. And let me get an age, and we'll see if that makes sense to you. So it's misunderstood around age 12, tug of light. So 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. And so that's, around age 12, that can be a tough time. And so my thought is, did people misunderstand you, like who you are, what was in your spirit and your soul? Is that what it was? It sort of crushed your spirit. So let's release this because you're older now. You're stronger. So let's go ahead and release that feeling, that deep pain in your heart of being misunderstood. Okay, so that did release. All right, the next 4 I've got are Miriam, Mphatha, Annie, and Harmonious's mom, Miko. So Miriam has right hip pain and hair loss. Let's see which one is more important we work on. So we'll work on the right hip pain. So let's see what comes up for that. So I get the energy of washed up. That's a unique thought. Let me get an age for that. So washed up. When I think of washed up, that isn't a young energy. It makes me think of someone older that after their life sort of fell apart. Not saying that at 23 that can't happen, but it's definitely more unusual. Or is this someone else's that was close to Miriam and them being sort of washed up really affected her at 23? So let's see. Was this hers? Okay, yes. So when I think of this, I think major shifts around that age is what I think. Although something isn't quite lining up. But Miriam will have to help guide. But it's that, but it's not quite that. So let's go ahead and release that energy of washed up because that doesn't help anything. Okay, that did release. All right, Mphatha is next. Mphatha wants peace of mind. So we're going to see if there's any negativity that is pressing on her that causes her to have more trouble finding peace of mind. So I'm getting the energy of discredited. Let me get an age for that. So this is from around the time you were 29. So 29 or 28, 29, 30. Discredited. Is this yours? I'm getting it's yours. It's not a word I use a lot. So you'll have to let me know. Let's go ahead and release that. So let's get rid of discredited. All right, so next on deck, we've got Annie, Harmonious, Walter, Tug of Light Sun. Or no, so let's see. Annie, Harmonious's mom, Miko, Tug of Light Sun, Walter, and then Harmonious. So let's see, Annie. Lack of motivation, can't seem to get on a healthy schedule. Let's see which is the more important. And work on the motivation piece. And so maybe if you can get motivation, you can get on a schedule. Hopefully. All right, so let's see. So I think we'll do Annie's, and then we'll do our third healing pulse. So let's see. I get a yes for that, Miriam, and that makes more sense. But especially because she was your mom, it really affected you. Wow, tug of light. That makes sense. So you've got a sensitivity to that. And part of it is many of us here tonight are star seeds and very misunderstood from a very young age. All right, so Annie. I get the energy of naive. So let me get an age and we'll see if it makes sense to you and if it's yours. So I'm kidding. This is from when you were really young. You were like 9. So 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. So I'm getting this is yours, but especially at age 9, sometimes we're rather sheltered, especially around those ages. So, but that affected you. So let's release and remove that. Okay, so that released. So we're going to do our next healing pulse, but let me just say a few things about timing of things. So, like when I do a private session, sometimes there are immediate changes, but oftentimes I'll give a window of when things will be done by. So most people so my sessions are generally 75 minutes, and most people are like 3 to 5 days where they're releasing, they're processing, they're flushing toxins and other things, and they're getting to be where they're going to be. If it's usually more than 5 days, which I think the most I've really ever had someone is 7. Usually that tells me that it was a pretty intense session energetically and emotionally. So releasing one trapped emotion, I wouldn't expect a long-term time for processing, but especially if it was a really intense time in your life, or if it was that energy over multiple weeks and months and you were able to purge it, it might be a few days. So just be aware and watch. And the same thing with the healing pulse. Most people experience something right away, but I did have one gal who was she was psychic and she was sensitive, but she didn't really feel anything. And then the next day she wrote me and said like 12 hours later, she felt it. So yeah, so that's just something to be aware of. So Colette's got some feedback. So Colette had some sort of immediate release. So probably one of the most common descriptions people have, because as we're releasing, I'm always sort of checking in and seeing if they're okay, because sometimes release causes pain on its way out, or it causes something else to take its place that's equally bothersome. So I always sort of ask, how are you doing? What did you feel? Did it let go? And so Colette says she noticed something. And so usually the word lighter, I feel lighter, is a really common thing, especially after releasing trapped emotions that are negative. So thank you for all of you sharing. So I'm really glad you're connecting to the trapped emotions and the dates, and you could back it up with life experiences that were not positive, and you were sort of hanging on to that energy, not consciously. This is all sort of a subconscious thing. So we've released Annie's being naive at around 9. So let's do our third and final healing pulse. And then we will do good luck, bad luck button. And then we will do, or strengthening will be our last thing. So think about where you want to receive the energy. If you're sort of wanting to try someplace new, I always suggest heart or that third eye. That's sort of a cool place. Or instead of placing both your hands in one spot, what if you did front of third eye, back of third eye? And so the healing pulse is going through the front and back of your third eye. That's sort of a cool one. So let's go ahead. I want you to rub your hands together. Place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. And just breathe that in. And just allow the energy of my hands, which are on top of your hands, to go back and forth. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Just allow that energy to flow, going exactly where it needs to go. As you're exhaling, you're releasing what you can now let go of. Okay, that was the third healing pulse. So let me know how that felt, especially if you were here for all three. Compare 1, 2, or 3. How did that go? All right, and I'm looking. So Annie responded because she was the naive trapped emotion around 9, and it was her not understanding that some kids are just mean. And you're exactly right, Annie, because some kids are raised to be mean and competitive, and part of it's the family dynamics, and other people aren't. And so it's sort of a rude awakening when an unaware nice child runs into a mean bully almost, because they don't really understand. So that does make sense though, Annie. All right, so next. All right, so Harmonious, your mom is next. So here's my remaining list. So I've got Harmonious's mom, Miko, Tug of Light's son, Walter, Harmonious, Christina, Rose Petals, and Christina's daughter. And I can't read my writing. Was that Kayla? Isn't that sad? I can't read my own writing. So we're not quite done. We're going a little longer tonight. It's sort of a busier night. All right, so let's go. So Miko has some tummy issues. So let's see. Kaylin. That's what I thought. I just didn't write it. Weird. Okay. All right. So I'm getting unreasonable. Let me get an age. Maybe Miko knows when this was. So I'm getting around age 34. So somewhere 33, 34, 35. Oh, there's Miko. Welcome. So unreasonable. And so here's my question that I'm going to check on. Was this yours? And I get no. It was somebody else. Well, I thank you, Zelda, for posting that. So let's go ahead and release unreasonable for Mika. So Annie wrote about the last healing pulse, said it was the strongest for her. Full body tingles. Place hands on third eye, front and back. All muscle tension gone. Wow, love to hear that. So it used to be, because the healing pulse is my very own, and I think I've been using it 3 or 4 years. But when I started doing it on lives, because initially I just did it one-on-one, and it started because a friend of mine was in terrible pain, and I was in a meeting and I couldn't talk to her, so I texted her and I walked her through the healing pulse through text, and it worked. It was shocking. And so then I started adding it to the group. But every week I would also say, so if you need more healing pulses, here's your little week of healing pulse in a baggie. Take it home, and if you need them, use them. So the good thing about the healing pulse is it used to come from me, but I'm more of a conduit to source where that healing pulse energy comes. It's still my personal mix of frequencies, but luckily it doesn't really pull from my energy. All right. So Tug of Light's son, Walter. He's got some health issues. So we're just looking for something overall to help him. It's the energy of punished. Huh. That causes me to ask more questions. Let's get an age. Oh, and there's Giovanna. Welcome. So, tug of light, I'm not getting that the energy of being punished is from this life. So generally this is not something I do during the short sessions, but we're going to do it anyways, just because tonight was your bonus session for everyone. And this, for those of you who are healers, this might give you an idea of how to use it in your own healing practice. So with this, so Walter's got some health issues. I came up with the energy of punished, which there are kids in this world, this life, that have that in their background, but I'm not getting he did or he does. So my next question is, did he in a past life? I get yes. There's one. And so some people are really connected by certain past lives. Some people are not. There is one past life that Walter has that energy has sort of followed him. And so what we're going to do is we're going to snip it. And so tug of light, I want you to picture Walter. We're going to surround Walter by his entire healing team. And my healing team is behind him. So it's like a double circle. So he's doubly protected. So there is a little metallic string. It's like a thread. It's like a little silver thread that goes from his gut to that past life. And so usually I call in Archangel Michael with his mighty sword, and I have him snip. But I also have a couple other people that come in too and do assist Michael. And so we're going to do that. So we're going to have Michael snip the cord right outside. So right next to Walter's abdomen. Yeah, and gut health is so critical for health. And then we're going to have him snip at the past life. And so if for some reason Walter does past life regression and wants to explore that life, he can. It just isn't directly connected. And so we're snipping that other life. The cord is going to be sent either to the central sun or it's just going to be recycled, not to regrow. And then we're going to send healing energy where we snipped that. So this healing is going to take a little longer than typical. But that has left. Okay. Harmonious, you are next. So just making sure. Oh, so sorry, tug of light. Self-healing and healing of family is one of the hardest things. Yes. And part of it is because we're biased and we can't always see or understand things. So let's just see. Harmonious, she's got a cyst on the ovary. Let's see what comes up. Keep doing that tug of light. So some people don't really believe in entities, and I never did either, but they're out there. So, harmonious, I'm getting an inherited trapped emotion of unworthy. So, I don't do too much work with inherited on my mini healings, but again, it's a bonus session. So, tonight we're going to do a little bit more of that. So, let's see where it came from. So, first I look and see, is it mother's side? Father's side. So, it's from the father's side of the family. Did it start with father? No. All right, let's see how far back it goes. Does it go to grandparents? Did it start with grandparents? No. Great grandparents? Great great grandparents? Yes. So, quite a ways back. I'm sort of doubtful that you knew them. Let's see if it was grandma, grandpa. So, grandpa, so how many generations? So, what is that? 4 or 5 generations back, grandpa had a trapped emotion of unworthy, quite strong, and it followed down through the bloodline, which doesn't necessarily mean everyone got it, but you got it, harmonious. So let's go ahead. So harmonious, focus on your grandpa and healing that energy of unworthy. And so the reason why we focus on the grandpa is there are many people who believe there is no such thing as time. So that means your grandpa's somewhere. And so we're going to heal the grandpa. We're going to heal anyone affected through your lineage. So go ahead and releasing the energy of unworthy. So we're going to release and remove. And then whoever had that we released it, we're going to fill the void with love, light, and healing. So spend a little extra time on it. You are very welcome, Tug of Light. Yeah, the interesting thing about inherited trapped emotions, you can carry them around for years and years, but until things are ready, it will stay sort of buried. And sometimes it's because the person's ready, sometimes it's because the universe has shifted and it's okay to leave. There's a variety of reasons why. Cool, Giovanna. So, some of you, there are reasons why you guys are here as a group. As a collective, you've got some similarities. So, if someone has something that's come up and it resonates with you, tune in and work on that release for you also. All right, Christina is next. She needs help with her heart. So I get the energy of smug. So not exactly a trapped emotion, but something emotional. Let me get an age. So I'm getting this is from around when you were 13. So like 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. And so was this yours? So this wasn't yours, but it was someone around you that was really smug and had attitude and was pretty annoying. So, but this is just a piece of what's going on. So let's focus in on and release. And so if you don't have healing in your background, just say a prayer, say a wish that the energies of this event, or maybe it was longer than an event, maybe this period of time. So release it. Okay, so that did release. All right. Rose petals, sinuses and sore throat. So let's see. So we're going to work on the sinuses. Let's see what comes up. So after this, we're going to do a good luck, bad luck button. And that's something that anyone can participate in. And then we're going to do aura strengthening. And that's sort of an energy work kind of thing that is helpful to anyone, even if you don't have energy work in your background. So I'm getting the energy of being restricted. Let me get an age. I'm getting like around age 30. So 29, 30, 31, somewhere in there. Is this yours? I'm getting it's yours. Did you feel restricted? Did you restrict yourself? Did you not allow yourself to do things? Something about not allowing. So let's go ahead and release that. So releasing and removing. Okay, that did release. Okay, last one for tonight, and then we're moving on to good luck, bad luck. So this is Kaylin, Christina's daughter. Lots going on. Let's see what comes up for her. So getting the energy of uptight. Let me get an age. This is from when she was little. Even like she was like 8. So 7, 8, 9. Is this hers? It is. So I can just feel tightening up. Ugh. Christina, is she empathic? And she felt everything around her, and it just really locked her up. She felt everything from everyone around her, and still does. She just hangs on to all the energies. Oh, the poor thing. Let's get rid of uptight. Are you into healing, Christina? Are you a healer? So let's release and remove uptight for Kaylin. So, have you talked to her about shielding and protecting herself from energies so that she doesn't feel everyone else's garbage? Especially if she goes out into public, if she watches TV or watches, if she's got negative friends. Because something's So I think that's going to take someone more intuitive than me, because there's something preventing her from shielding. Yeah, sort of crazy. Yeah, because I don't really feel a lot, but I feel that. And that's why she's so sick. She feels everybody else's stuff. Does she do very much grounding? Just because grounding will help clear other people's stuff, at least some of it. But I think that's all I've got for her for tonight. All right, so Rose Petal just commented because she came up with restricted around age 30. And her mom died when she was about 28, which is fairly close. Lost a lot of weight, changed jobs, moved, more rules. Sounds pretty restricted. Wow. Interesting correlations. Thank you for sharing that, Rose Petals. Yep, and my birth name's Christine, so yes. All right, so let's do something sort of fun. So this is good luck, bad luck button. And with this, your good luck button should always, always, always be on. Your bad luck button should always, always, always be off. Ways that you know, even without knowing, that either you're flip-flopped, is you have nothing but bad luck in your life, nothing good ever happens, or bad things happen, but they're never as bad as they could have been, and you always say thank you because you know how badly things could have gone. So here's my most recent example from a friend of mine. She was in a car accident. Somebody rear-ended her. And she didn't really have any damage to her car, but the car that hit her, the front end was pretty smashed up. And she didn't have any physical pain afterwards, which, sometimes if you get rear-ended, you have whiplash and have to go to the chiropractor or doctor for treatments. So that's an example of if your good luck is on and your bad luck is on, because you want the bad luck off. So if you want to see where you're at, I want you to put a 2 in the comments. So, and I think Christina I missed your reply about grounding. I think you said, I don't think so. So you have her look into grounding. I know there was a YouTube video. It's probably 10 years old, so I'm not sure if it's still out there, but it talked about grounding. People in Alaska grounding, where there's lots of snow and cold. It was very interesting, but I know there's a lot on there. So all right, so Mika, harmonious, rose petals, Christina, Yvonne, tug of light, okay, Beth and Nick, Miriam, okay, I think I got everybody so far. Mika, harmonious, rose petals. So, and if I missed you on the individual healings, I'm sure you let me know. Giovanna. So people are putting a 2 in the comments if they want to participate in good luck, bad luck button. That is a good practice to have, tug of light. I am really bad at it. Just because I don't like being outside in the cold. All right, so then I'm adding Laura. Okay. So, and if people come in, no worries. All right, so let me just set up my sheet. So basically, I test everybody together. Annie. Okay, so far, I've got Mika, Harmonious, Rose Petals, Christina, Yvonne, Tug of Light, Beth, Nick, Miriam, Giovanna, Laura, Annie. If I missed anyone, just put something in the comments. All right, so let's start. So I'm going to focus right now on the good luck. And so your good luck button should be on. So far looking good. Seems like the more I do this, the less off people are, which is good. Wow, everybody's good luck button's on. So that's like the best thing right there. But let's check the bad, because sometimes the bad sneaks in there. Okay, so far we're doing good with bad luck. It's not on. Oh. Wow, this is a first. Everybody's good luck was on, and everybody's bad luck was off. But just know, if part of it is the awareness. So, like a few years ago, I was having a really horrible week. Someone stole my Facebook account, and they took the whole thing, and it was during COVID, and I was doing lives every week, and I had just started. I was going to do a subscription abundance class, and that was supposed to start in 4 days, and everything was through Facebook. At that point, I didn't do YouTube. And so they took everything, and then I thought, okay, I've got a backup. I will use the backup under summer, because that's not my birth name. It's my spirit name. So I thought I'll do that. And the day after I decided that, I was out shoveling slush in my driveway, and I fell face first on blacktop. And most of you who are from snow realize a lot of times, well, I've never fallen face first when I'm slipping on snow and icy stuff. Never. But that day I did. And luckily, before I hit the blacktop, someone turned my face, so I just hit here. Otherwise, it would have been an ambulance call, because I hit really hard, and it made me sit up, and I was really hurt, and my whole side of my face was bruised. But it made me realize that I was blessed, because it could have been so much worse. And right after that, I learned about good luck and bad luck. So my good luck button was on, but my bad luck button was on. So I fell because of the bad luck. Fell face first. But because my good luck was on, I was being protected, but sort of scary. So think back over your life to things that Ooh, there's something that doesn't want me to talk about that. But think back through your life. It will give you even more to be grateful about. So that was good luck, bad luck. So I think we'll do aura strengthening, which was wonderful. And then at the end, we'll do questions. I'll talk maybe a little bit more about my healing practice, as far as what I do in private sessions. If you have questions about the healing pulse or anything like that. So, yes, I'm so glad I had my good luck on. So, and I always feel I'm protected by Source or God. I have multiple names for my protection. So, very blessed. So, the importance about aura strengthening is it does help repel negativity. I think it makes you feel stronger and more protected. So with this, we're going to do two things. We're going to strengthen your aura, but we're also going to fill you up. So I want you to think about a couple words. Excuse me, I better clear. There's something not wanting me to end now. Okay, so let's clear. Okay, so within your aura, I want you to think about what would help you be your best today, right now. Is it joy? Is it love? Are you dealing with hard things? Do you need courage? Do you need gratitude? Think about what you want to emphasize that would help make your life better. So let's rub our hands together. Now with this, you can pull in healing pulse energy, but I always like you to work with your own energies too. So rub your hands together. That sounds great. Love, joy, peace. Yeah, fill that up. Rose petals. All right, so start beaming energy out to your aura. So just imagine, so like right now my hands are really tingly after the last, gosh, we've been going almost 2 hours. That's sort of crazy. But we're sending energy out. And just imagine that aura getting thicker and stronger and more easy to repel. So I also like to add a hint of reflectivity, either, not like solid reflectivity because you don't want people running into you, especially when you're walking or driving, but you want pieces of reflectivity. So if someone is spewing negativity and hate, part of it will bounce back and hit them. They probably won't get it because they don't feel as much as they should or could. But I think it's good when you have them get back some of their own. So as you're filling this out, now fill it up. So Giovanna's going to put kindness in hers. That's fabulous. Oh, Angel Knight, yes, you missed it, but let me just quick check. We're just doing aura strengthening. Okay, so Angel Knight, your good luck is on. And your bad luck is off. So you are fully aligned tonight, Angel Knight. All right, so I'm just checking to see if I missed anything. All right. You guys did really good tonight. So this is something I do free every month on the 1st. Sometimes I add a little bonus thing. Usually when I do the bonus thing, it's more in the middle of the month, but because I had technical issues, we did it on the 3rd and the 1st. But so I'm always here 7 p.m. Central. So with my private healings, it's an hour and 15 minutes, and usually I have people bring 3 issues they want to work on. Most of my clients, we work through Zoom, and I have about 30 different tools. Some are dealing strictly with emotions. Sometimes I deal with entities. I also deal with balancing and other kind of things too. And then at the very end, if energy work has not come up as a tool to use, we'll do like 10 minutes of Reiki and Shambhala and some other energies through Zoom. But a lot of different things come up. Every once in a while, I'll get a message that maybe something is a past life issue. So it's something generally, and that I do pretty quickly, sort of like tonight when that past life thing came up tonight. I also do past life regressions, and I am certified through Dolores Cannon and also Candace Krog Goldman. And most of those I do online, although I can do it in the office too. And it's pretty time intensive, but the amount of things that come up for that are pretty amazing. So, does anyone have any questions about my services? Oh, and that costs $150, and that's US. So, but if anyone has any questions, you can ask here, or I do have free consultations. You can just book a Zoom session on my website. And the website is at the bottom of the page, csummerjones.com. So, but it sounds like I really like when I get the feedback and I hear what happened to you at that age that links back to that emotion, and very fascinating. So I will be here January 1st at 7 p.m. New Year's Day. We'll see. I go back and forth on if I should add more or not, but this is sort of a typical, very nice work. So good to see everybody. Some new faces, which is cool, and some original faces too. Thanks, Harmonious. I hope everybody has a happy holidays, whatever your belief system brings to you. I wish you all the best. So have a good night. Bye.